All right, awesome. Well, before I pull up my slides, I just wanted to welcome everybody to the second half of this. It's so amazing I caught some of the earlier presentations, and just like a common thread, people are sharing their stories of their mental health journeys. And so that kind of just leads us right into, I know Mark had shared that his dad had bipolar and he experienced what that was like. So you'll get to hear a little bit about my story, and we're all connected in some fashion, right? So let me
While you're pulling up your information, Krista,
yes.
I am so excited to hear about the gut brain health. And I'm sure everyone that's live streaming and those that may see the replay are going to get some wonderful informational nuggets on
Right.
how to manage their wellness from a holistic perspective.
Yes, indeed. That's what we're going to be talking about. So let me pull up my screen and let's see here. Presenter mode. Voila. Can you all see that?
I can see it. Looks good to me.
Awesome. Okay. So as we were talking about, we're going to discuss mental wellness and the gut brain axis. And I'm just so excited to share this with you because literally learning about this over the last few years has truly been a game changer for myself, for my mental health, and really excited to share it with you. I'm Krista Samimi, and I'm a wellness partner with a company called Mari Global. We're the holistic mental wellness company. So just a little bit about me and a disclaimer too, because I know a lot of people at this conference, doctors, nurses, lots of fancy letters after your name and all of that. So my disclaimer is that I am simply Krista Samimi, and everything that I'm going to be sharing with you is really just sort of like my lived experience and what I've kind of learned along the way. So if we come along stuff and you're intrigued, just remember to always check with your doctor or your healthcare provider. I am neither of those. Okay. Now that we have that out of the way. So I live with my family in Northern California. We're over here outside of Sacramento. My husband, David, and we have a 4-year-old son, Jacob. And I have 2 amazing stepdaughters who are much older than Jacob. They're 19 and 22, and I just love them to pieces. I absolutely love all things related to yoga, specifically hot yoga. It's my favorite form of exercise. And I do love sushi. And as you'll find out, helping people elevate their mental wellness via the gut brain axis is my jam, and I love to do that. So I can sometimes get off track, and just to kind of let you know what we're going to talk about, this is kind of what I have in mind. So first, I want to share with you kind of like my personal mental health journey, how I got to where I'm at, and, all the bumps along the way, what I learned during that whole process. And then, of course, I want to make it relevant to this summit and, everything related to kidney disease, and really talk about how does kidney disease affect your mental health. We are going to talk about mental wellness, and you'll soon find out that mental wellness is really different than mental illness and even mental health. Obviously, we're going to talk about the gut-brain axis and ways to elevate your mental wellness in a holistic fashion. And then lastly, we'll touch on what it means to optimize your gut-brain axis with targeted nutrition. And if you guys have questions along the way, please do drop those in the chat, and Ercelene will kind of field them, and we can stop and go. I don't want to get too far ahead if you have a question earlier on. So
perfect.
Awesome. Okay, so why do I have all these pictures of our family here? The reason I show this is because you never know on the outside what someone is truly going through on the inside. Let me just move this thing here too, so I can see you guys better. That's better. Because literally you can see, I have a friend who coined a hashtag for me called Krista Smiles, because I'm always smiling and always looking like happy on the outside. But in 2019, I was really, 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 really struggling. And this is actually the face of depression and the face of anxiety. Before I got to 2019, my mental health journey actually started in 2001 when I was I had a lot going on in life. I was engaged at the time. I was engaged. I was in my corporate job. I was doing pharmaceutical sales and had recently been promoted and all these different stressors. And then all of a sudden I started to not be able to sleep. I stopped eating and gained lost a lot of weight. I was really nervous and anxious. I didn't know what it was at the time. It was just all this energy, and my mind would race and race and race, and I couldn't shut it down. Well, that year I was actually, and as things progressed, I started to like not be able to tell the difference between reality and not, and I was having these things called delusions. So at that time, my dad also had bipolar. So they took me to my dad's psychiatrist and they diagnosed me with bipolar in 2001. And literally for like the next, it was pretty rough having those manic episodes and not being able to differentiate reality and not reality. But for the most part, for like 15 years, I was really kind of high functioning. I took medication, did the things, was in a corporate career for 17 years, did a lot of mental health advocacy work at that time with an organization called NAMI, National Alliance of Mental Illness. And I just kind of went about my life and just took the pharmaceuticals and just thought that's the route that I was going to be on. Well, I had some hiccups and I had, not to get into like all that, but like I had some hiccups and not taking care of myself had like landed me in like psychiatric hospitals and things like this. And in 2015, I actually tinkered with my medications. I was getting frustrated. I was tired of taking medication and all the side effects and all of that. And it was not a good decision. And that landed me in a psychiatric hospital in 2015, which after that, I was really devastated. And I was like, okay, I guess I just need to follow what my doctor says and not, stray. And that brings us to 2019 when I'm having this situation where I am feeling so down and so depressed and not feeling like myself, not motivated to take good care of my son. And, it's one thing when I was having my mental health journey when I was single and not affecting anybody else, but now my mental health was not just affecting me, it was affecting my husband, it was affecting my son. And I really felt like a horrible mom. I remember the day I was like on the couch, unmotivated. He was 2 years old at the time and he wanted to play. And I didn't even have the energy or the motivation to play with my own son. And my heart was breaking because I was crumbling to pieces on the inside. Like everything looked great on the outside. I was fully blessed. We have a, roof over our head. We have food. We have all the things. And I just felt like I was being ungrateful. What is wrong with me? Like, how can this, like, what am I going to do? And I literally, I remember I was looking at all of my medications and I was thinking that Jacob would be better off without me than having me as his mom. And I was just so heartbroken because I was so lost and confused and anxious and all of the things. And I just didn't know what I could do. And I really contemplated my own life. And I have never been in that dark of a place before, but there was just like this dark cloud like over me and I didn't know how to get out. And it was.
Krista, thank you so much for sharing that. And I just want to jump in real quick because we've got a couple of comments and some support coming through in the chat that are just so spot on. Alexandria says she had terrible postpartum depression. And these things are very real. And I just applaud you and thank you so much for being so transparent in sharing your story, because several people can even attest, as Livia mentioned in the chat, we've all smiled through pains and showed up as though everything was normal. And it wasn't. So I'm very, this is really good. You're hitting home for a lot of people that have been in this similar situations. So thank you for being so vulnerable.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you guys for your comments and stuff, because I know, it's really common, like, unfortunately, especially like postpartum depression can be a really lonely place. Something just slipped out of my mind. Oh, yeah, like this slide here, like I had so much shame. Like, why can't I just pull myself up on my bootstraps, like get it together and just feel normal? Like I felt horrible around Jacob. I would just, like, my heart was breaking. And 1 in 5 families are affected by mental health disorders. It's unfortunately like very, very common. And I carried a lot of guilt. Like I said, it was one thing to be going through life when I was single and it wasn't really affecting anybody else. But once I had a family, it was really life-changing that way. So like transitioning a little bit here. So I always, like, in life, right? I forget where I got this quote from, but we're always one decision away from a completely different life. Like, at that time, I was literally contemplating my life and whether or not it'd just be best if I just swallowed all of my pills. And at just the right time, okay, you have a picture up here of social media. I know you guys might be laughing at that, but like literally at just the right time, I was scrolling on social media and a friend was talking about like this holistic approach to mental health and the gut-brain axis. And like literally my ears were like perking up because I was like, what is this? Like I knew if I went to my psychiatrist and told him what was going on, and usually I'm really like honest with him 100%, but I knew if I went and told him what was going on, he would just give me another pharmaceutical, another thing with side effects. And I didn't want that. And so I wasn't even going to bother telling him what was going on. So this friend of mine, I reached out to her and I began to learn that I didn't just have a brain problem. This could be a gut brain problem. And suffice it to say that our gut is our second brain. And this new science gave me so much hope because it started to make sense. It started to be like a root cause, like something like we're getting to the root of things. We're not just putting a Band-Aid on it. And so what started out as like a holistic approach to my mental wellness literally like led me to this whole like mission and movement of how people are doing their mental health differently. And my eyes and my mind and everything was just completely blown. I was like, wow, like this is amazing. So literally that one decision to just like reach out to a friend who I didn't even know very well completely like was a game changer and changed the whole trajectory of my life. So like many of you who may be watching, we're here at like the Kidney Trail Summit and you may have like kidney disease or kidney failure. You are always one decision away from a completely different life, whether that decision is to be intentional about the food you put in your body, the decision to maybe look into an alternative or a new therapy, new treatment, or just the decision to exercise your body every day. Like all of those decisions could potentially lead you to a completely different life. How does that land with you all? Drop some comments.
That is fantastic. You're getting quite a bit of support. Just people are sharing. Mark shared about his dad being bipolar and being ashamed. And we have so far to come when it comes to just accepting the normalcy of mental illness and figuring out ways to be mentally well, emotionally well. So I think what you're bringing to us today, Krista, is just so very needed. And I am learning a lot, and I'm very appreciative to the information that you're sharing. I love your quote, one decision away. Our entire lives can change in one decision. So my question to you, Krista, is when you think about where you were in your darkest of moments, and then you look at where you are today, how did that one decision just totally transform your life? When you think about probably never identifying the hope and the possibilities.
Yes.
And then look at you today, beaming with just as a bright light of sunshine and offering so much hope to others.
Yeah. So what comes up when you ask that is like, I mean, not only did that one decision take me on a path of like a holistic, something more root cause for my mental health, but like I said, it took me on that decision, led me to this like bigger movement and mission that's going on through the mental wellness company, and that I get to share my experiences to help others with their mental health. And that was like for the longest time, that is what I've always wanted, is to work to be in the mental health and wellness space in some capacity. And I always like thought like, oh, maybe I need to go back and be like a social worker and get my degree and do all of these things. But like, you know, the universe delivers on if you desire something, right? Sometimes you just have to release the how and just say it's coming. I don't know what it's going to look like. And so not only did I transform my own mental health, but now I get to help others do the same.
That's got to be an amazing, fulfilling, just overall excitement that you have. I see it in your smile. I see it in your face. And we've got a couple of comments here in the chat. Fred mentioned that mental health is a problem in the African-American households that truly needs to be addressed. Fred, high five, my brother. I truly understand, as a woman of color, growing up in a household of other individuals of color, mental health is kind of taboo. It's not to be talked about. Or if someone knows that you have a diagnosis, it's always, tucked away in the background. And so I think we've gotten to a point now, just as a society, that we need to talk about these things. There's a way to handle, as Krista's here to share with us, there's a way to handle your mental wellness.
100%.
And we have to start looking at it. I know here on your slide, and we're here at the Kidney Trail Summit, kidney disease and how it affects mental health. Chronic illness impacts mental health.
Exactly.
There's no way around it.
There isn't. I mean, we all have to deal and take care of our mental health. And with kidney disease, especially, I don't have personal experience, but just kind of doing some research and listening to what everyone's been having to say is that like maintaining good mental health is a struggle for most people, but it can be even more difficult for people that are having kidney disease because of all the stressful situations that come with that. So depending on the stage one's in, there might be added stressors in life that would impact the mental health. And the more advanced the stage of kidney disease, the more likely someone would experience like mental health struggles, and even a great deal of stress for those that are on dialysis. So like maintaining your mental health and physical health affects your eating habits, your sleep, your energy, and your ability to stay on the exact treatment plan as your doctor prescribes. So it's super important. I think, obviously that goes without being said, is that mental health is very, very important, especially if you have kidney disease.
Absolutely. When you think about having a chronic illness like kidney disease, it can change your whole life if you allow it. It's one thing to allow the disease to lead you versus you leading that disease. And being mentally well is how we can help overcome some of those barriers and stressful situations that go along with a chronic illness like kidney disease.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And some of those stressors, and later in the presentation, we'll really talk about how sometimes you can't control the stressors, like they're going to be there, but like how we respond to them and what you can do to minimize stress, because that is the most important thing you can do for your own mental health. So here's all the different, stressors that may include. If you guys have others, you can drop them in the chat. But, just the time commitment of dialysis and how that can take you away from your family. It can take you away from work and having to take time off work. All of these things are, very stressful, which is why we want to have, solid plans in place to minimize and tolerate the stress. All right, so we'll switch gears a little bit and talk specifically about mental wellness. So again, not mental illness and not necessarily mental health, because not everybody has like a mental health diagnosis, but everybody has mental wellness. And these are the areas that you can work on. This makes up your mental wellness. So how well do you focus? If you're doing a project or a task, are you constantly like multitasking and doing different things? So that's a huge part of your mental wellness. Your pressure management is just how are you dealing with everyday pressures, family life, school, work, whatever you're doing, like how do you handle that pressure? Confidence is all about, believing in yourself. When you improve your mental wellness in all different ways, your confidence goes up and you can count on yourself. You can believe in yourself. Stress resilience is that ability to, some people can handle like a ton of stress and someone, can barely handle anything. But the better you get at stress resilience, then your mental wellness is improving. And then your overall like mental performance, like, high level athletes and people that really have like that competitive edge, that mental edge. It's really just having your brain work at its highest capacity so that it can, do whatever you're doing, whether it's work, something competitive, sports, all of those things.
So Krista, I'm going to ask the group.
Yeah.
Let me see by a raise of hands in the chat if you've ever struggled with any one of these items on the screen. Who's ever had issues focusing? Managing your stress and your pressure. Mental performance. Now, I know I can't be the only one that's gone into the room and forgot what I went in the room for. Right. And then confidence, weight change, body image stuff. I mean, confidence is always something that for most, I would say at some point in time in your life, you've maybe struggled with confidence about something or another. So like, am I the only one?
No.
Surely not. No, the chat says I'm not the only one. All right.
Okay. Yes. So these are the areas that make up your mental wellness. All right. So let's go. This sort of new science. So the mind-gut connection has, been around for a long time, right? But mainstream is slowly picking up on this. And science tells us that we not only have actually a second brain, but we even have a third brain. And there's just been a massive shift with the microbiome as our second brain. And that is really how people now are really addressing mental wellness is through this second brain. So how important is your microbiome? When your microbiome is in, and let me back up a little bit. So like your microbiome is everything that's involved in digestion, and everything from your esophagus to your stomach to your small intestines, all of that. It has all trillions and trillions of beneficial bacteria, not beneficial bacteria. And it sends your gut and your microbiome literally sends signals to your brain via the axis, which is the vagus nerve. So when it's in balance, you feel great. You're in a good mood. You have lots of energy. You're sleeping good. When your microbiome and your gut is out of balance, you're going to feel fatigue. You're going to have sadness. You're going to feel tense. Your energy level is going to be low. Your gut's going to be sending signals to your brain that you're always hungry, even though you just ate. And a lot of bloating. So it's really important to tune into your gut to see, because it's kind of like the hub and it sends all kinds of signals to your brain.
It's kind of like putting regular gas in your high performance vehicle. You have to be careful with how you take care of your gut.
100%. Okay, so just a visual really quick on like the third brains. We mainly focus on the second brain, but the heart is actually the third brain. And it's the one that is like your feeling brain, your emotions, all of that. And obviously we know about the brain in our head, that's the thinking brain, logical brain, and they all work together, sending, biochemical messengers and different things and signals. And when you optimize, especially when you optimize the second brain, you really elevate your mental wellness, and all of those things get improved, like the focus and the confidence and all of that. Okay, so let's talk about some ways that you can elevate your mental wellness. Okay, the first one I have on is mindfulness and meditation. All right, if you guys are doing either of those, like drop meditation in the comments. I got to give you like my story on meditation. I always thought you had to be like sitting on a yoga mat or some fancy mat, and you had to have a special pillow with the waterfall right here and the lava lamp or whatever those little lamp things are. And then if you didn't do it that way and sit there for, an hour, you're doing it wrong. Okay, it's kind of an exaggeration, but what I've learned from different instructors and classes and stuff is that there's truly no wrong way to do meditation. There's two types of meditation, the one you do and the one you don't do. So you just have to find what works for you. And for me, I drop Jacob off at preschool, and then I go sit in my car for 11 minutes and put my earbuds in and turn on a guided meditation. And that's it. And it really comes down to your breath. You want to just breathe in your breath and just focus on your breath, which tends to make your mind more quiet. If your mind's anything like mine, it's very busy and there's a lot of things going around. So meditation just really helps you like quiet your mind so you can actually hear your own intuition and really tune in that way. So mindfulness and meditation is really good for your mental wellness. Okay, mood boosting foods. Let's talk about like what's not a mood boosting food. If it comes in like a bag or a box, it's probably not a good mood boosting food. You want to like focus as much as you can on like plant-based stuff, vegetables and fruits and just things out of nature, and then fish, chicken, those kinds of things. Avocados are really good mood boosting foods. If you like avocados, almonds, those kinds of foods are great. Exercise. Okay, again, we're not talking, you don't have to go do a CrossFit exercise or workout every day. If you could just get your body moving, like literally just moving your body for like 20 minutes. If it's raining outside and you can't go for a walk, go up and down your stairs or just pace through your house, like just make it work that you can move your body for at least 20 minutes a day. Gives you those feel good neurotransmitters, feel good. There's a reason for it. Journaling. Do you guys do journaling? And again, journaling can look a lot of different ways too, but what I have found is that, first of all, we don't have to believe everything that we think. Things in our mind are just thoughts, and a lot of time our brain is trying to protect us. So sometimes journaling out those thoughts, and when you put them on the paper and you're like, oh, I was thinking that, like, that's interesting, right? Just getting curious about your thoughts and journaling. I like to journal affirmations to help with mental wellness. So again, journaling is something, if you're going to do it, just find something that works for you. There's no right or wrong way to journal.
I absolutely love that you do affirmations, Krista. Absolutely love
I
that.
just started. I haven't been doing it for very long, but they're crucial because your brain is like constantly trying to tell you crazy
In
stuff.
movement. Yeah, it's amazing how your brain will automatically force you to try and accomplish what you tell your brain that you are. So if you say that you're amazing, often you will find out that you're doing more amazing things. It's all about your affirmation and how you perceive yourself. I just also wanted to just mention, you mentioned the mood boosting foods. One of the things in the kidney community that we have to be very mindful of are some of those additional nutrients that come in those great mood boosting foods. So if you're listening and you like avocados, but you can't eat them because of the potassium, don't eat those avocados and say Krista said it was all right. That's wrong. So be careful.
Thank you for the disclaimer.
Yes,
that goes right along with my disclaimer about anything that I say. Check with your doctor first. You're probably pretty good with the meditation. I don't think that's too much harm, but do check with your doctor or your nurse practitioner that you're seeing.
Or journal the fact that you want the avocado and you can't have it, and then rip it out and throw it away, and it'll be all right.
Exactly. There's a solution for everything. Your sleep, you guys, your sleep matters. Oh my gosh. Like, honestly, drop in the chat how many hours of sleep you get on an average night. I would love to know. Because ideally you really want to get like 7 to 8 uninterrupted hours. Now, if you have, a small child, that might not happen, but your sleep is really going to affect your overall mental wellness. Some things that you can do to get better sleep is, number one, no screen time, an hour before you're going to go to bed. And I've heard good things about the blue light blockers. I haven't got them myself because I don't have any problem sleeping, but I heard that blue light blocking the glasses, those are really helpful. And then also making your bedroom specifically for just sleeping, like not watching Netflix in your bed, because then your mind is like, oh, I'm supposed to be awake. So that's kind of a few things you can do to optimize your sleep hygiene. And then we will dive in a little bit after on targeted nutrition for your gut-brain axis. We don't always get all the nutrients and vitamins and everything that we need from our environment. So I'll talk specifically about that type of nutrition for your gut-brain axis.
This is good, Krista. I'm taking notes over here.
Okay, I can't see everybody, so I hope everybody is still awake.
You've got a good audience, let me tell you. And the chat is still booming. So keep it coming, everybody.
All right, cool. Maybe somebody in the audience can snap a couple screenshots. All right. So signs of an unhealthy gut, like what to look for. So obviously, there's so many facets of our modern lifestyle that goes on. Like there's, the culture of like, oh, you don't need to get a lot of sleep, get up at 5 a.m., like all of those things. And eating processed foods or high sugar foods, taking antibiotics can impact your gut microbiome. So main things to look for in terms of like stomach disturbances is if you have a lot of gas, have a lot of bloating and constipation, your GI tract has like a little bit harder time processing the food that you're eating. That's what it's kind of doing. A high sugar diet. So a high diet in processed foods and added sugar can decrease the amount of good bacteria in your gut. And I've heard from a lot of my clients is that they used to crave a lot of sugars, crave. And then once their microbiome kind of came into balance, they didn't really crave the sugar as much. So any unintentional weight changes, whether that's losing a lot of weight, not intending, or gaining a lot of weight. Again, sleep disturbances and constant fatigue are a sign of an unhealthy gut. Same with like skin irritations, like eczema may be related to a damaged gut. Inflammation in the gut caused by a poor diet or food allergies may cause increased leaky proteins. So you guys may have heard of the term leaky gut, and that's when those proteins are getting released into the body, and that can cause the skin irritations like eczema. And then also people with a lot of food intolerances, that can be another sign of an unhealthy gut. How to improve your gut health. So chronic levels of stress, as we know, is just not good on our body in general. And we talked about those ways that you can lower stress through like meditation, getting some exercise, going for a massage, decreasing your caffeine intake, laughing. Laughing is really good to relieve stress. And of course, you're into yoga. That's why I go to yoga. Not that I have a lot of stress in my life, but it calms me down. Getting enough sleep is super important for your gut health. Trying to prioritize 7 to 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep per night is ideal. Eating slowly. I'm working on this one. I think being a mom, I just tend to eat fast. Eat. But chewing your food thoroughly with in your meals can help promote full digestion and absorption of nutrients. So really taking the time to say, if you put take a bite, put your fork down, chew your food, and then pick your fork back up.
Krista, one of the things that helped to just kind of slow down the eating and also eating better for me was not eating on the go. So not eating in the car while commuting. It made a huge difference. So I don't know who else is in that, eating on the go. And as a mom, like you said, you're always running, you're always busy. So even packing better snacks when you're out and about, so you're not running to the drive-through.
Yeah, always having snacks in the car. I always keep stuff in the car so that for that very reason, if you're somewhere and you don't make it home, you at least have an apple or some almonds, which is better than the drive-through. All right. And then changing your diet, right? And the diet is different for everybody, but the general rule of thumb is if you stay away from those processed foods and things in a bag and a can and a box, stick with the fresh stuff. All right. So supplements, specifically targeted nutrition for your gut-brain axis. Remember, we have in our gut, almost 90% of our feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin are produced there. So, the gut's not feeling good. That's why you're probably not feeling good, low energy, down, sad. And so I'm actually drinking my happy juice here, and happy juice has all kinds of great probiotics and prebiotics designed specifically for mental wellness. So increases your, what's it called? Mind. It's super good for like lowering anxiety, lowering stress because it works on cortisol. And so when you take certain supplements for the gut-brain axis, you improve things like your digestion, energy levels, how well you sleep, your mood, and you decrease stress. So when I first started on these, like I said, that it was a game changer to find out that I didn't just have a brain problem. I mean, yes, I still have to take my lithium for the bipolar and everything, but I had a gut brain problem. And that's why I was getting so depressed and anxious and things were off in my gut. And I'll be frank with you, before I started on these supplements, I was not craving a salad with tomatoes and cucumbers. Like, I was like, bring me the Doritos and the dark chocolate and we'll just call it a day. But once I started to take better care of my gut brain axis, I started making better decisions about what's going in my body and how I was taking care of myself. So, my brain fog went away. I had more energy, and literally like in 3 to 4 weeks, I was feeling joyful again. I was feeling happy to play with Jacob. I was, not snapping every 2 seconds at something that was not that big of a deal. And so literally this whole optimization of my gut brain axis brought me back into balance. And it was like putting glasses on for the first time. I was like, oh, the world is supposed to be like this. This is amazing. So that's just a little bit about the supplements. But again, disclaimer, before starting on any supplements or changing anything in your routine, be sure to, check in with your doctor. All right. So just to bring it full circle and, I wanted to share part of my mental health journey with you, just so that, getting, I don't even like to use the word recovery, but just getting back in balance, whatever part of your mental health you may be struggling with right now, or your mental wellness, just know that there's so many options and so many things available to you that you don't have to, lose hope, because there's so much opportunity to improve your mental wellness. And then we talked about how kidney disease can affect your mental health and all of those stressors that go along with it. So it's just so important to find tools. And I just say, tools in my toolbox, like the meditation and the exercise, so that you can make the stress less and not have to, struggle as much. And then we talked about the mental wellness, about really improving your focus, working on your stress resilience, your confidence. And so just really thinking about ways that you can level up. There's always a little bit, I know people that are okay, I feel okay. I feel good. Right. But with your mental wellness, the more that you work on it, you can go from feeling good to feeling great. Or if you're really at the bottom of the spectrum, like I was, where I was just down and out, just know that there are resources and tools that can move you up that continuum, and you don't have to stay where you're at. Your current situation is not your final destination. We talked about those ways to elevate your mental wellness with meditation, exercise, being sure to get that optimal sleep. And then we talked about the optimizing the gut-brain axis with targeted nutrition. So let's see. So we are almost done. What's next?
Krista,
Yes, ma'am.
If I wanted to learn more about gut-brain axis and the supplements that you mentioned, how do I find out more?
That's a perfect segue into my next slide. I didn't even tell you to say that. That's awesome.
I'm asking for the people. The people want more. The people want more.
The people want more. Hey, look, I did not plan this. This picture, I got the same shirt on. It's my favorite shirt. It's my favorite colors. And yeah, anyways, side note. All right. So we are all on social media, right? So please, I would love to connect with you on social. You can find me over here on LinkedIn, just my first and last name. I'm on Instagram at Krista Samimi, Facebook, Krista R. Samimi, and TikTok, Krista_Samimi. So I would love to connect with you all. Please do that. And to answer Ercelene's question, I'll leave this up just for another second in case anybody is trying to.
Make sure you get connected to Krista so you can get all the good details and inside information on gut brain health. She is available. Krista, can you go back to that slide? You can find Krista everywhere. She is connected to social media. So if you cannot find her, trust me, connect with someone that's in kidney trails, and someone can get you connected to Krista so you can get all this great information.
Yeah, and I do have a digital gift for you. I'm going to put it in the chat as soon as I figure out how to minimize and do this. But what I was going to say is I'm going to give you, if you would like it, you would just click on the link that I'm going to put in the chat. And it's a PDF on holistic ways to improve your mental wellness. It's like a checklist. So you're welcome to download that. And then if you would be so kind to share your email, then we can book a complimentary virtual connect, whether you want to talk about your mental health and wellness and get some ideas there. if you want to talk specifically about your gut health and the gut brain access, or if you have any questions about the supplements that we have for mental wellness, I'd be happy, to chat with you. So I'm going to drop that link so you guys can have it. Do I need to stop sharing? Probably. All right. Let me just find.
This has been super insightful, Krista. I am totally just in awe with all of the information that you've shared today. And I'm checking the chat to see if we have any additional questions for you. So for all the attendees that are listening in, watching, if you have questions for Krista, please just drop them in the chat and we will get those questions answered for you. If you still need to know how to get connected to her, she is on all social media channels as Krista Samimi. So check her out, connect, click the link and get the free. Anytime there's something free, I'm here for the free. Okay.
It's good too. It's good value. You'll like it. You'll like it.
Good stuff. And it's a way for you to take a tangible item away from today. Krista has given some amazing information on how to manage your stress. She's talked about mental wellness and all those aspects that fall into mental wellness. And we all have the need to be mentally well. Managing your stress levels, getting enough sleep, all those things that she talked about, we need to exercise them. And if you need help, she's here to help you. So get connected.
Yes, please. That was well said, Ercelene. Thank you so much, you guys. So I can't wait to connect with you on social. And I did drop the link here in the chat if you want to click on that. And any more questions? We have a few more minutes if anybody has any questions.
Let's see. I'm just scrolling through to make sure I didn't miss anyone's question. I did put out here if, to type yes if the information has been impactful, and you've got quite a few yeses. So whoop, whoop, whoop. It's been good stuff.
Awesome.
It's good stuff. Everybody needed this. I don't see any other questions in the chat. So I'll ask you this question, Krista, in these final few minutes that we have with this amazing audience. And thank you all for joining and taking time out of your day to jump on and get this information about the gut-brain access. But my question for you, Krista, is for someone who's kind of teetering on the fence, whether or not they really want to reach out, maybe there's a sense of low confidence. I really don't want anyone to know that I'm struggling. What advice would you give to that individual?
Goes back to you're always one decision away from a completely different life. And what if maybe you want to reach out, and a conversation's not like a commitment. It's just, you never know what kind of value you'll have in that conversation. And if you don't take action, then nothing's going to happen, right? But maybe taking action and just, having a conversation with me or somebody else could change, what you're going through.
I love it. I love it. If you don't take action, nothing's going to happen. I love it. Love it. Because the one thing that I learned is when you don't take action, you really are taking action.
Good point.
So who do you want to control your life? The best person to control your life is you.
Yes.
And Krista has made it very, very clear. You're just one decision away. So I am super pumped about just all the information about being here and participating with Kidney Trails. Thank you to Anthony Reed and the Kidney Trails team. It has been amazing. And I do want to just open it up one more time for any final questions, or if you need to see the slide on how to connect with Krista, let us know so we can get you that information so that you can get connected today. Don't wait and say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. Get connected today. Your one decision could start right now. Your transformation could start right now. So why wait?
Exactly.
All right, let me just take one more peek at the chat. No further chat questions. So I think you've left them all speechless.
I hope that's the case.
That's a good thing. That's a sign of a great informative presentation. And so with that, yes, Livia, I see you, honey. Yes, give her those hand claps, spirit fingers, hand claps. We like it all. I appreciate your time, Krista, for sharing. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Anthony. I see you, and I see Tim. Welcome, fellas.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm just going to want to thank everybody for tuning in from all of our streaming platforms. And we are getting ready to go into the next session. And it is a session you don't want to miss, just as this one was. And we will be hearing from the Renal Warrior Motivator himself.